All right, Shalom, Kal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace salutations unto the hopeful elect. Once again, this is Yahweh Sop, and the topic of tonight's show will be entitled, all right, For the Sins of the Forefathers. All right, for the sins of the forefathers. Now, you take Salakia. You take a good look at that image I chose on the screen. All right, you should have an idea of where I'm coming from. All right, now the sins of the forefathers may not be an exact biblical quote or verse in the Holy Bible, but for the past week I've been like meditating for the spirit, you know, based on some things, that I have seen, and meditating on this and that, you know, looking at some troubled family members I got, being a good example, they they end up getting into certain troubles, and this and that be happening to them, you know. So that I started meditating on this topic more, and I came up for the sins of the forefathers, for the sins of our forefathers. All right. Now, what do I really mean by that? Well, you see the image right there. All right. Kunta Kente, the ever popular Roots TV series. All right, for those of you that might be that might be watching, and you were born in 1968 or 72. All right, or somewhere around that era, you know what I'm talking about. You also grew up with this show, and how popular it was. It broke all kind of records. All right, all kind of people throughout America and worldwide were watching this on TV, man. All right, the TV show that made uh, history. All right, but I'm using this mainly as an example. All right, I'm not really talking about the TV show. I bring it up as an example. All right, because the reason it became so popular, and it did what it did, is because it basically depicted the sufferings of our people, the sufferings of the ancestors of you so-called African Americans, and how you were brought here as slaves and all that, all right, and how you was been humiliated and called names by this white man, all right, and to this very day that hatred still continues, all right, to this very day the slavery yet continues, man. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves and all that, the so-called emancipation. All right, but I'm not getting into that. All right, Lord willing, I'm gonna focus more on the reasons why we as a people, so-called people of color, ended up being on such a low level condition and being brought to a land, all right, a country, all right, a part of the world that none of our ancestors never knew before. You understand what I'm saying? This part of the world that we're in to this very day, known as America. All right, and how we got here and the reasons we got here, all right, is for the sins of our forefathers, man. All right. because you so-called black people broke every biblical law known in the scriptures. You turn your back on the Most High, and this is the reason why he has chastised and punished and destroyed our people the way he did, man. You understand what I'm saying? This is why all of us that bear even a little color on the skin, all right, like myself, we we come to know the hard way later on that this man and his people are our enemy, man. All right, okay. Now, for those of you that might still think, oh, the white man is cool. He's my friend. I got a lot of so-called white friends, and you know what the fuck you talking about? What the fuck I'm talking about? Well, what the fuck I'm talking about is the fact that your forefathers came to this country as slaves, all right, and we as a people were never really meant to be slaves. We're supposed to be above every other nation on this planet Earth, including your so-called white friends. All right, and the reason we were brought down so low, all right, and brought here to the Americas as slaves, is for the reasons I've just mentioned, for breaking the Most High's laws, for turning His back on them. All right, and I got the scriptures lined up, which Lord willing, I'm gonna start reading from real shortly to give you a more heads up of where I'm coming from with this topic. You see what I'm saying? All right, so that's what more explanation do you want? You understand what I'm saying? Now, some of these so-called white people that some of you might know, and you say they're your friends and all that. Well, there's there's a likelihood that maybe some of them, may have a black lineage themselves, man. All right, that there are many so-called white people in this country and throughout the world, and I'm not saying every last one of them, all right, that has at least a generation or two that belong to at least one black ancestor, all right, a black great grandfather or grandmother, all right, but you are of the seed of your father, all right. It's the man that carries the seed. All right, you understand where I'm coming? You understand what I'm saying, right? It's the man that carries the seed. All right. So so there is a such thing as Israelite foreigners out there. All right. You got your so-called Italians. All right. A lot of them really think that they are white and they are not. And some of them in the spirit know that they are not really white. You understand what I'm saying? You got your so-called Irish, all right? A lot of them, all right? Not every last one of them, but a good part of them have at least a Negro ancestry in them, man. All right? No matter how blue the eyes might be, or how blonde the hair might be, or how pale the skin might be. You understand what I'm saying? All right. But basically, even some of them have encountered, you know, even some of them have encountered a few challenges here and there, settling in this country and getting along with the purebred redneck, if you know what I'm talking about, right? They too, some of them, they too have been discriminated against. All right. So what do you think? So why you think that's been why you think it's played out like that? All right. It's played out like that for the simple fact that the real Edomites that were here already, they know in the spirit that some of these other white people are really niggers. Plain and simple. All right? Plain and simple, man. Okay? All right? So so basically, our people as a whole, all right, in some way or fashion, have paid for the sins of the forefathers. All right? This is why many of us are in the conditions that we are in. All right? Not really every last one of us gets to make it out there in the world, like let's say your Puerto Rican Ricky Martin or Enrique Iglesias or Eddie Murphy, all right, or Dwayne the Rock Johnson, all right, or fucking Will Smith, Chris Rock. You understand what I'm saying? Those kind of people make it on top of that. Them they make it on top the way they do because they sell their fucking soul. All right, they sell their soul to this white man. All right. So the majority of us, all right, the so-called hardworking type or the non-working type, all right, when we end up living in these ghettos, all right, and roach and rat infested apartments. You understand what I'm saying? Once again, paying for the sins of the forefathers, man. All right, okay, living in poverty-like conditions, a fucking paycheck to paycheck. All right, you understand what I'm saying? Living off HRA, so-called welfare, getting your so-called SNAP benefits, and now the white man is getting ready to cut at least half those benefits, man. So all of that pertains to the present day curses we are in, man. All right, that's where all of that pertains to. All right, once again, for the sins of the forefathers, for the sins of our forefathers. All right. I think that's a much better title, for the sins of our forefathers. It was our forefathers who turned their back and disrespected the Most High, man. So he turned his back on us. All right, with all these curses that he put on us, all this chastisement. All right, so some of these demons that many of us wrestle and deal with. You understand what I'm saying? That all pertains to the curses. All right. So without further ado, Lord's will, all right, I'm going to start reading scriptures now. And I hope that it gets to be edifying. All right. So I'm going to start with Exodus, the book of Exodus. All right. The book of Exodus. And this was shortly after the Lord freed the Israelites out of Egypt, and led this was right after, if I'm not mistaken, this was right after Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, out of the hands of Ramses II. All right, and they were led triumphantly. All right, and to through the Euphrates, the river Euphrates, was it called? Right, how the Lord lifted up the ocean, all right, and basically made a wall out of the water so that the our forefathers could pass right through it. All right, that was also called the Passover, man. All right, okay, but I'm going to start reading here from Exodus 32. I'm going to read verses 7, all right, from verse 7 to 10. Now here it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, go get thee down for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. All right. So the Lord is already complaining unto Moses that right after right after he freed his people out of the first captivity out of Egypt, they immediately began corrupting themselves. How were they doing that? I'm going to read further. Verse 8, they have turned aside quickly out of the way which I have commanded them. They have made them a molten calf and have worshipped it and have sacrificed thereunto and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. All right? Okay? So basically, that was the gratitude of our forefathers. Right after the Most High let them out of Egypt, all right, like I explained earlier, right as soon as that first Exodus happened, our people quickly began going off, and that is how that was their gratitude towards the higher power. You understand what I'm saying? That was their way of appreciating what the higher power did for them. All right, by choosing to worship idols. All right, by choosing to worship other gods, they began going off. All right, they began going off, and this began to basically piss the Most High off. So you can understand. All right, it began to piss him off. All right? Okay. I'm going to keep reading on. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. All right? So right there, the Lord is telling Moses that that our that that Israel, all right, the real Israel now, all right, the so-called blacks and Latinos, all right, beginning with the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes, is a stiff-necked people. All right, and that to this very day, that is still being seen, man. The majority of our people are stiff-necked. They're hard-headed. You understand what I'm saying? That they don't like taking instruction. All right, that they like going by their own ways. Okay, and Esau, the so-called white man, is pretty much like that in nature himself. He likes going his own way. All right, he tries to be his own God, and therefore, what wants the world to believe that he is God, that he is that higher power. You see what I'm saying? All right. The last thing Esau ever wants to acknowledge is that he really came from a black man and so-called black woman. All right. Only difference is he came out red. All right. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. All right. And they called his name Esau. Genesis 25 and 25, man. All right. Okay, but like I said earlier, I'm gonna focus more on you so-called people of color that might be watching. All right, Esau is still in his power seat right now, man. He's enjoying himself, enjoying life a lot better than any of you so-called colored people could ever even try, man. Okay, he's in his heaven right now. We are still yet to this day in our captivity and them are fucking hell. All right? We are in this hell for the sins of our forefathers. All right? As I'm reading here, all right, the Most High, I classified his people as a stiff-necked people, man. All right? Stiff-necked people. You understand what I'm saying? Now, a little earlier, I brought as an example, right, about some things that I have seen happen to some so-called family members of mine, all right, they keep getting into trouble. You understand what I'm saying? And in the past, I myself have tried giving at least one of them advice and telling him to watch out for himself. You understand what I'm saying? All right, and and to stay out of trouble. You understand what I'm saying? But and he just wouldn't listen, man. All right, I've even tried to teach him. I've even tried teaching him the truth once, man. All right, I've even tried teaching him the truth a long time ago, man. All right, but the nigga wouldn't listen. You understand what I'm saying? He's a stiff necked nigga, man. All right. So for some of you that might be watching and you happen to have the troublemaking family members like that, they just look for trouble and they get into it. They end up in jail and shit. All right, and it ain't that you ain't tried correcting them. Don't worry about that, man. Don't sweat any of that. You understand what I'm saying? For those of you that might be watching and you have a sincere heart, work out your own salvation, man. All right? Forget family members and everyone else in this thing, man. Because at the end of the day, the Lord ain't coming back for everybody. He's only coming back for a selected number of people on the planet Earth. He's not coming to dig up every single family member and all that. So forget that, man. You understand what I'm saying? If that family member ain't right, then the hell with that family member, man. All right? You can't sweat that family member. You understand what I'm saying? You got to think more about yourself in this thing. You understand what I'm saying? That's why, beginning from the elders on down, they keep telling you, work out your own salvation. That's what this thing is about, man. The hell with some family member that frequently ends up in jail and all that. That's his or her problem, yo. All right. So I'm gonna keep reading on. Exodus 32 and 10. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. You see, so the Lord was already pissed off at the actions of these ungrateful coons. I gotta call them that he led out of the first captivity, all right, only for them to turn their back on the higher power, man. And this is why he you know, hey, I'm gonna go. Hold on a second. This is why the Lord did what he did, man. All right. Now I got the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter lined up. But before that, I'm going to Jeremiah 4 and 22. All right. Okay. Jeremiah 4 and 22. Salaki. Oh, bear with me a moment. All right. Salakia. Bear with me a moment. Okay. All right. Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. All right. Now let's look up the word sottish just for edification's sake. All right. Sottish. All right. Hold on a second. Yeah, all right. What's the Hebrew pronunciation of that?
Strong's H 5530.
Sahal.
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 Sahal. All right. And basically that's another word for food. All right. Plain and simple, food. The majority of our people are foolish, man. All right. Ain't no doubt about that. Just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and you see some of them crazy antics that the majority of our people be doing with all that party, fun, world star hip hop. All right, what them some of them fucking world star of videos. You see them so-called black women have fights that they grab each other. They grab each other by the hair. They pull themselves down to the damn floor and show their bare asses, man, in front of the whole wide world. All right, you tell me if that's not a foolish people, man. A people laden with iniquity for folly. Our people are into folly, man. All right? Our people are into folly and entertainment. You understand what I'm saying? All right? That they're into entertainment, that they're not into being educated. They like entertainment. All right? And this world is not, this world, this truth is not all about entertainment. It's about getting educated. All right? Getting educated the right way. All right? The right way and the biblical way. All right? The way the elders and the apostles have thought out there, all right, based on the teachings of their original elders. All right? And that is knowing and understanding this here truth, knowing who you are and where you're headed. All right? It's either damnation or salvation for those of you that pick it up. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So the Lord is saying here, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. The average so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man has no understanding in this white man's kingdom and his great white society. All right. They have none understanding. And that's how the so-called white man himself conditioned the majority of our people to be. He never wanted them to have understanding. All right? When you watch Roots, all right, or you watch any of these other slave drama movies that are out there, all right, you got Will Smith that recently put out one on Netflix, I think, or on the Apple streaming service. All right, he has one movie out there called Emancipation, where he basically plays a slave, man. All right, and basically you watch any of them movies, and and overall. The white man never wanted the slaves to learn how to read, man. They were forbidden to read the Bible, especially. All right? Why were they forbidden to read the Bible, man? Why were they forbidden to know and understand the scriptures? Because they knew better. Because they already knew who they already knew from where them slaves had descended from, man. The fact that them slaves had already descended from greatness, from being a great people on the planet Earth. All right? And they went from being a great people to a no people for breaking the laws and commandments of the Most High, man. All right? And the white man, Massa understood this. All right? That's one of the reasons why Massa did not allow your forefathers that were slaves and learning to read the damn Bible, man. All right? The last thing they ever wanted was an educated nigger. An educated nigger, man. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? All right? Okay? Even some of these so-called educated Negroes today don't really know what's going on, man. All right? If they don't know whom they are, all right, and where they came from and where they're going, then they have no understanding. All right? They are wise to do evil. All right? So the majority of our people, the good two-thirds of them, they are wise to do evil, man. Okay? They are wise to do evil. For among my people are found wicked men. Okay? The book of Jeremiah, I think. All right? For among our people are found wicked men. All right? That's these wicked niggas out there, wicked two-thirds, man. All right? Okay? Ye are of your father the devil. You like following after Massa. You like doing the evil deeds of your Massa. You want to be like him so damn bad. All right? The majority, the half of our people, they go around tanning their damn hair blonde. All right, the so-called black woman, sometimes the dyes her hair blonde. You got some Puerto Rican women out there, all right, who have natural black hair, that they go around trying to be blonde and shit. You understand what I'm saying? You even got a couple of Asians out there that be tanning their hair blonde and all that. Okay? All right? Okay? So our people are wise to do evil, man. But to do good, they have no knowledge. You see that? They have no knowledge, man. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy now, all right? In the Old Testament. And I'm gonna read at least half of that scripture. It's a long scripture, all right, but I'm not gonna read all of it. All right, just to give you a quick heads up, all right, on how and why and how the Most High punished us, man. All right, okay, so let me just scroll down here. All right, I'm gonna start from verse 15. The consequences of disobedience. You see that? Okay, so Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, once again, right after Exodus, This was once again Moses commanding or instructing the Israelites and warning them, all right, through the words of the Most High, what would happen to them if they keep breaking the laws. All right? Verse 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. All right? Cursed. Cursed shalt thou be in the city. All right? You take a good look at that verse right there, and you should think about what? You should start analyzing, all right? You should start opening your eyes to how, to the real reason why so many young black men end up getting shot and killed by the police out there. Your so-called police brutality, all right? A lot of these young black and Hispanic men and women, and sometimes even children, all right? Even children and end up getting killed by this white man. All right. The story of young Emmett Till being an example from way back in 1955. All right. He was just a young man, Emmett Till, maybe 15 or he must have been at least 15 years old. Still a kid, man. And so some white woman claimed that he whistled at her, all right? And he got brutally beaten to death just for that, man. Look that name up on Google or YouTube, Emmett Till, all right? And you know what I'm talking about, man. That's why it says here, cursed shall thou be in the city, all right? So the majority of, hey, the majority of us colored men are cursed in the city, man. All right? We are a cursed people. We are cursed for turning our back on the higher power, man. All right? Cursed shall thou be in the city. Cursed. Cursed. Cursed, man. All right? The majority of you so-called black people are really cursed, man. All right? That's why all these bad things keep happening to you. All right? Verse 17, cursed. There goes that word cursed again. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. This is why the majority of us are poor. It's hard for us to make money. All right? It's hard for us to make a decent living sometimes. All right? It becomes it becomes hard to pay the bills sometimes. All right? It becomes hard to put food on the damn table. That's why it says what it says here. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. All right? The majority of our people cannot open stores and be as successful in this white man's country the very same way as the Koreans and other Asians, all right, East Indians and even damn Africans be doing, man. Because those are heathen nations who are yet in their blessing. They have the blessings right now and we don't. You understand what I'm saying? This is why you so-called Negroes are, hey, the majority of you just don't have luck in maintaining a store of your own, man. You cannot open a business of your own. All right? Okay? No matter how hard you try, and the Most High makes that impossible for you. All right? I'm reading the curses. This is the book of the curses, the curses, the curses, the curses, man. The curses. I'm reading the book of what? On the curses. All right? What would happen to us for turning our back on the higher power, man? I'm reading the curses right now, man. All right? I'm reading why we're in the condition that we're in. All right? I'm going to keep reading on. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kin. All right? The increase of thy kin. The majority of us, as much as we keep making children, All right, the Most High really meant His people to be fruitful and multiply. But right now we're we ain't really doing much of that. And if we do end up having children, we end up losing them. You understand what I'm saying? I just read the curse on why young black men end up getting shot, young Hispanic men end up getting shot, getting killed. All right, okay. Some of your kids might be born retarded. You understand what I'm saying? They may have a mental problem. Okay, all right. That's why the scripture says what it says here. All right, the increase of thy kin and the flocks of thy sheep. Okay, all of that is relating to, we can't really prosper here the same way that our enemies are doing. Plain and simple. All right, that's what that scripture means. All right, verse 19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Okay, all right. So hey, so some of our people might be able to achieve so-called stardom. All right, they might get to become big famous Hollywood celebrity stars. All right, they get to rub elbows with the likes of Steven Spielberg and all that. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Other Hollywood big shots. All right, but some of these that have so called made it have ended up quite miserable, man. All right, you don't know who you are while you're on the planet Earth. Then it doesn't matter how so called rich and famous you get to be. All right. A good example of that is your so-called celebrities like Red Fox, Sammy Davis Jr. All right. They were very famous, so-called black men in white man's America, like 60, 50, 60 years ago, man. All right. And where are they now? You understand what I'm saying? They both died miserable and broke. All right. Red Fox in particular. If you don't know who Red Fox was, look his name up on Google and YouTube. Red Fox. All right. He had a popular TV show in the 70s called Sanford and Son. All right. And basically, the white man's IRS stripped him of all his money, and the man died broke. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the scriptures and most importantly, he did not know who he was. All right, he knows that now in the spirit world, of course. But while he was here on the planet Earth, he did not acquire this knowledge, man. All he knew was all their worldly ways that led him, to so-called succeed and so-called make it in so-called Hollywood for yet a little while and then go out broke. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the scripture says what it says here. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, when the majority of you people are born, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out, when you die. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thy hand unto for all. Salakia, thine hand. I'm going to read that again. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. All right? Because our ancestors, our forefathers forsook the Most High, he forsook us. All right? He forsook us, man. He punished us, man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to go into some of the things that personally that the Most High has punished me with, but man, I tell you, man, there is a higher power, all right? You just need to understand that better, all right? And that's one of the reasons the Lord is coming back to acknowledge that he and his Father do exist, man. All right, and that they are both to be feared. All right, okay. Verse 21. All right, Salakia. All right, now moving on with verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword. All right, so he plagued our people with illnesses to this very day. All right, you got your diabetes, you got your high blood pressure. All right, you got your hypertension. All right, you got this and that going, all these different diseases. All right, and then it goes on to mention the sword. That's basically the verse I read a little while ago. Cursed shall thou be in the city. All right, how young black so-called black men constantly end up dying on some street corner, getting shot by this white man, getting brutalized by this white man, and sometimes even by his own people. All right. Case in point, them so-called black police officers that took down this young black guy a few months ago. I think his name was Nichols. His last name was Nichols, right? Yeah, they took down that guy, man. But it was for personal reasons that he got taken down. From what I understood later on, that guy was sleeping with one of them police officers' wives, man. You see, so he was already committing adultery. You see what I'm saying? This is why these things keep happening to y'all, man. All right. Okay. And with blasting and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. All right. Okay, now. All right. So moving on in Deuteronomy. All right. I skipped a few verses. All right. And I'm going to conclude, all right, with verses 42, all right, through 45. All right. Salakia. Hold on a second. That's verse 43 through 45. All right. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. All right. Now, who is the stranger that the Most High mentions here? The stranger refers to the so-called white man, Esau, and the other nations. All right. Esau, all right, Moab, all right, Elam, all right, and Cush, all right, Cush or Ham, meaning the so-called Africans, all right. So the so-called white man's a so-called Asian, all right, the so-called Chinese, Korean, Japanese, all right, the so-called African, the so-called Arab, all right, the so-called East Indian, all right. Those are the strangers that will get above us very high, all right, while we would come down very low. That for what? That it's all part of the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which I am concluding here, reading verses 43 through 45. I've just read a good half of it a little while ago. It's a very long scripture. For those of you that wish to conclude and you can do your own reading, all right. Go to Blue Letter Bible or any other biblical page, all right, and just type Deuteronomy 28. For those of you that may have a spiritual understanding, you should know better what these scriptures are saying, and that it relates to you one way or the other. All right, it relates to all of us. All right, it relates to all of us the fact that the stranger, because that's all they were in the ancient world. And the beautiful thing is, they're going to go back in these last days. They're going to go back being strangers again real shortly, Lord willing. All right? Right after the Lord comes back and he brings this swift judgment and destruction, these heathen nations ain't gonna be so high and mighty afterward. All right? So the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend. All right? He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. All right? Okay? Salah. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee. All right? Till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments, his statutes, which he commanded thee. So once again, that this was the warning given by Moses to the Israelites that were led out of the first captivity in Egypt. All right. And what happened after Moses administered all these warnings? All right. They being the stiff-necked people that they were created to be, went on to break every law and turned their back on the Most High. So the Most High had, he promised that his warning. All right, and he to this very day he has well executed all these punishments, all these curses that most of us are still yet going through in the 21st century. All right, to this very day, man, till to the day he comes back. All right, now I'm gonna conclude with Psalms. I'm gonna read Psalms the 26, the 100, Psalms 126. All right, and I'm gonna conclude, Lord willing, with a verse, a couple of verses off of that, because in spite of the curses that we are still in, there is a way out. All right, for those of us that already got the knowledge and understanding and have been out there teaching, all right, there is, Lord willing, a way out of this present day captivity. There is a way out of these curses. All right. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. All right. For the good 1/3 of our people that are destined to be liberated in these last days. All right. And Lord willing, Aparatasa, go back to the greatness, all right, that we were once were. For that is what our people were truly meant to be on this earth. All right. So there is hope. There is that promise. And the Most High is not a man that he should lie. All right. So Psalms 126 and 1. It reads this: when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. Okay? We were like them that dream. All right? So all these curses, this nightmare way of life, beginning with the slave ships. All right, and even before that, beginning with Christopher Columbus and his so-called discovery of America. All right, what he mainly did was slaughtered. He slaughtered half the population of those islands. All right, and thus began the affliction and suffering of our people. So all these bitter chapters that to this very day we are yet still experiencing, and will all seem like one big bad dream. All right, Abaratasa, I myself wish to just one day wake up and not be under this damn fucking white man anymore. Just not be under his damn tyranny anymore. Just not have to suffer under him any damn more. You understand what I'm saying? So once again, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. All right, that's a beautiful scripture right there. Verse 2, then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. All right, the Lord hath done great things for us, whereof we are glad. Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the strings in the south, that they sow in that Salakia, they that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. All right. So with that, I hope this show was edifying. Kal halal Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakah Kadash, Shalom.